Okay, so this is lesson number 6. Now, this evening we will continue with The Elephant Man, okay? I would like you to send your summaries to me now, because I will correct them for next Monday, okay? I don't know if anyone has sent me anything, but I will correct for next Monday. Now, on Monday, we finished chapter 1. So we listened to the second part of chapter 1. Now, this evening, I am going to read the final part of the chapter again. Okay? Now, as I said last week, when you listen to the book on the computer, he speaks slowly. When I read, I will read faster, because you need to understand that when you speak English, if you go to England or America for that matter, and you listen to somebody speak in English, they do not speak slowly. Only the Queen speaks slowly. Once a year, on the 31st of December, when she gives out her speech to the country. Okay, she's like the President of the Repubblica. And she only does this on the 31st of December, and she speaks very, very slowly. Okay? But that's only once a year, okay? So we need to get acquainted with the fact that we need to understand when people speak fast. Allora, quello che io dico sempre, ed è una cosa che purtroppo è così, o per fortuna, perché si può migliorare, l'unico modo per migliorare l'ascolto è fare ascolto, non ci sono altri modi. Ci sono delle tecniche che possiamo cercare di applicare. La cosa fondamentale è non bloccarsi su una parola che non si conosce. Se ci si blocca su una parola che non si conosce, è tipo quando stai al volante col cellulare, che tu stai al cellulare e fai, o stai tipo per radio stasera, 2 secondi fai 50 metri con l'automobile andando a 50 km/h, quindi non capisci nulla. Ed è la stessa cosa qua. Se voi ascoltate, non capite una parola e vi bloccate su quella parola facendo che significa, che non significa, forse significa, la persona continua a parlare, quindi sicuramente non capite nulla. Quindi voi dovete tenere la mente aperta ed ascoltare, ed alla fine ci sono delle buone possibilità che piano piano iniziamo a capire le cose, anche perché gli esseri umani comunicano su più livelli. Io comunico giustamente con la voce, ma comunico anche con il linguaggio del corpo. Quindi io capisco da come uno parla, se è felice, se è triste, se è incazzato, se non lo è, ok? Quindi noi dobbiamo cogliere un po' tutti i segnali. Quindi ascoltate, non bloccatevi su una parola, perché se vi bloccate sulle parole non capirete mai nulla, ok? E per molti anni ancora. Quindi dovete cercare di cogliere le parole importanti. Fortunatamente l'inglese è una lingua che non è piatta, anche se è una lingua germanica, non è piatta. Le lingue germaniche di solito sono molto piatte. Quindi se sentite gli svedesi, se sentite i tedeschi, hanno tutto, sono monotoni, quindi o felice o triste non si capisce niente. L'inglese è diverso, è una lingua che da un punto di vista intonazionale cambia molto, ok? Questa è un'eredità che viene dal francese, quindi è una lingua germanica, però è diversa, ok? Having said that, I'm going to read for the second time, so we give a chance to our new guest, and we have a special guest here this evening. So, and your name is? Cosimo. So that's typically English, no? Okay. And what's your surname, Cosimo? Marino. Are you from Eboli?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Cosimo, of course, is a typical name from Eboli. And so you're here to take part in the lesson. You're here to listen to the lesson, okay? Okay. Do you understand when I speak? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. It's the same with them, okay? So don't worry. Okay. So as I was saying before, the important thing is to have an open mind and listen to everything. During the lesson, we are studying this book here, which is called The Elephant Man, okay? Which Mariana will tell you all about the book, about Ridley Scott and the famous film and everything, okay? We listen, we have a CD, and we listen to the CD, so you don't always listen to me. fortunately. You listen to the CD, we listen to it twice, and then I ask you to speak among yourselves in English, if possible. And then I ask each and every one of you, in turn, to summarize in English. Ok? Quindi riassumere in inglese. Then the following lesson, we listen to it again. This is lesson 2 of the series. And then I will ask you to write questions concerning what we have just listened to. Okay? As I said this evening, it's important to write by yourself. So don't ask the people you have next to you if the question is correct or not. Okay? Because the only possibility I have to understand if you have made a mistake or not is to check your work and not somebody else's. Okay? So, thus said, I'm going to read the second part of the chapter. The chapter is called The Creature in the Shop. Okay? And it's about a man who is strange. Okay? So are you ready? No. Okay. Okay. I will also ask you questions, but first I would like you to write, because I want to check the questions. Okay? Okay, so, part 2. He wore some old trousers, but no shirt, or shoes, or coat, so I could see his body very well. His head was the most interesting thing. It was very, very big, like an enormous bag with a lot of books in it. The head did not move, the head did not have much hair, and there was another bag of brown, dirty skin at the back of it. This skin came down below his neck. I could not see one of his eyes very well, because a lot of skin came down in front of his face too. An enormous red tooth came out of his mouth, under his nose. It looked like an elephant's tooth. The mouth and nose were like holes in the face. The face could not smile or laugh or look angry or sad, because the skin could not move. It was dead, like an elephant's face. There were more bags of dirty skin on the front and back of the creature's body. These bags came down to his legs. The right arm was enormous, and there were bags of skin on it too. The right hand was like a man's foot, but the left arm and the left hand were beautiful. The left arm had wonderful skin, and the fingers of the left hand were long and beautiful. It was like a young woman's hand. "Walk, Merrick," said the shopkeeper angrily. "Come on, quickly, move." He hit the creature with his hand. Slowly, the creature walked across the room, but he could not walk well. His legs were very big and fat, and he had a bad back. He could not walk far without a stick. "All right, thank you," I said. "Let him sit down. I don't want to see any more." I felt ill, and the smell in the room was very, very bad. "Yes, sir," said the shopkeeper. "Sit down, Merrick." We went out of the room and closed the door. The shopkeeper smiled at me with his yellow teeth. "Wonderful, sir, isn't it?" he said. "The best elephant man in England. Hundreds of people come to see him, sir. You know, hundreds. I take him all over the country, I do." "Yes, very interesting," I said. "Can I sit down?" "Yes, sir, of course. Here's a chair." He looked at me, smiling. "Would you like a glass of water, sir?" "Yes, please," I said. Then I looked at the things in the dirty shop. There were 2 or 3 bad apples and some old black bananas. That was all. No, thank you. I'm all right," I said. Did you call the creature Merrick?" "That's right, sir, Joseph Merrick, the best elephant man in England. I take him all over the country, you know. Lots of people want to see him." "Yes, I see. And do you get a lot of money?" "Well, sometimes we do, sir, yes, but it's difficult, you see, sir, because of the police. The police don't like us, you see, sir, so we can't stay in a town very long. We usually move every week." "Yes, I see. Well, anyway, Mr. Silcock, Sir Simon Silcock. Yes, well, Mr. Silcock, I'm a doctor at the London hospital. My name is Dr. Treves. I think this man, Joseph Merrick, is very interesting, and I would like to see him at the hospital. I want to look at him more carefully, you see. Yes, sir, I see, but how can he get to the hospital? It's going to be difficult. Why, man? The hospitals are not far from here. Well, yes, sir, I know, but you see, Merrick can't walk very well. He needs help. You can come with him. Do you want more money? Is that it? Well, yes, sir, I do. But you see, people are afraid of him too. In the road, little boys always run after him and hit him. Then the police get angry because people are afraid. Sometimes they take us to prison. I see, I said. Well, how can we come to the hospital then? Bring a cab, sir, said Silcock. You can take him to the hospital in a cab. Okay? That's chapter 1 finished. Okay? Now, I want each and every one of you to write 2 questions. Okay? So, 2 questions about the whole chapter. It's up to you. Ok? Allora, segnatevi questa espressione perché poi le espressioni fanno la differenza. Sarebbe it's up to you. Che in inglese vuol dire dipende da te, dipende da voi, dipende da te. Okay, so write 2 questions. It's up to you if you write questions concerning the whole chapter or the second part of the chapter. Okay, the important thing is that you write the questions. Okay? When you finish, you call me and I will come and check. Ah, you finished? Ah.
Sai che te lo devo tradurre da mio perché... Ok, tipo questo.
What did the creature do after the shopkeeper ordered to move? Okay, that's okay. Just one ordered him. Ordered him to move. Okay? Poi.
Qua c'è una secondaria che deve essere... Why you moved so slowly? Why you moved so slowly?
Allora, quindi la domanda è what did the shopkeeper do after what did the creature do after the shopkeeper ordered him to move? Okay. Ah, why? Ma questa è una domanda, why he moved?
Sì, vabbè, noi scriviamo in formato mio, poi ci sta questa qua.
What did the doctor do after he
After the shopkeeper offered him a glass of water.
Okay, quindi what did the doctor do after the shopkeeper offered him a glass of water? Okay.
Vabbè, qua c'è una fatta.
How much money? Giusto, perché tu hai fatto how much money?
How much money the shopkeepers gains on every...
Però questo è sbagliato come domanda, proprio come è scritta come domanda,
Sì.
non va bene.
Vabbè, questo qua, why move the town by town?
No, pure questo non va bene grammaticalmente.
Questo non l'ha preso.
Quelle là vanno bene, devi applicare questa,
Che sarebbe queste due qua?
perché se non ci sta non vanno bene. Perché qua how much money this is? Perché qua ci sta la Q, che sarebbe tutta questa. Poi ci sta quindi how much money? The shopkeeper, quindi QS, terza persona singolare. Quindi non si trova. Questa è QS3. Sbagliata, deve essere QS.
Se volessi mantenere nella stessa lingua.
Ci manca da ausiliare. E non deve essere terza persona. Tu devi applicare questa. Ok? Quindi qua oggi sta do, oggi sta does, pure ci sta did. Fa una cosa, applica questa forma, riscrivila, perché se te lo dico io...
Sì, no, nel senso volevo capire dove era l'errore.
which, allora, quindi which expression, qua la stessa cosa. Sta qua e sei, non si trova. La prima, non si trova. Which expression? Allora, al massimo puoi fare così, has the elephant man, ok? E quindi hai fatto l'inversione, va bene, ok. Poi la terza, how many? Ok, poi what's, ok, the shopkeeper's name, ok, va bene. Però usa una con questa formula qua. Ti dal passato, sì. Ok, questo è il passato però, giusto? Sì, sì. Why did some ask, sì, the doctor to come to the shop in a cab? Ok? The next day. Ok? Quindi va bene, se ovviamente è al presente, questo ovviamente do o does per la terza persona. Se invece è al passato è sempre did. Ok? Ok. Ok. Vabbè, sì, è un po' più difficile perché giustamente fatti aiutare da loro per la storia. Ok. Quindi, was the creature naked? Va bene, what color was the shop assistant's hair? What color was the shopkeeper's hair? Ok, però devi fare una con questa. Questi due vanno bene. Allora, what was the elephant man's skin like? Okay, good. Why couldn't the elephant man be moved to the hospital? Ok? Sì. Qua è se devi usare questa. Ok? Perché tu hai fatto bene usando people to see the elephant. Quindi why? Ok, allora se tu applichi questo. Allora, abbiamo fatto why, la Q ci sta. Poi hai messo S. Quindi viene why did the elephant man go to the hospital with the doctor? Doesn't the police want, no, why doesn't the police want people to see the elephant man? Ok? Quindi non farle però, vanno bene così, non farle interrogative. Ok, fanno queste vanno bene. How much money do how much money does the shopkeeper earn for every shop? Sì. Sì. Perché Q e sarebbe tutto questo. La A, la S e la E e il resto. Ok. How many? Allora qua verrebbe. Aspetta un attimo. Sì. Allora, how many? Qua verrebbe, questa è una locuzione. Qua viene how many bananas? Tu come hai fatto? How many bananas stay on the table? Stay, sì. Però questa è sempre inversione tra verbo e soggetto, non è questa qua. Perché qua bisogna applicare questo sarebbe, questa è la question word. Quindi qua o va do o does oppure did. Poi ci sta il soggetto e poi ci sta l'infinito. E questo con tutti i verbi tranne quei 4 to be, have, must e can. Sì, sì, così va bene.
perché c'è solo
Sì, perché c'è solo l'inversione tra bananas e A, tra questi due. Perché poi, sì. Sarebbe bananas, how many bananas are on the table? The bananas are on the table. Ok, quando se senza il punto interrogativo. Ok, se invece senza questo, all bananas on the table, sì. Ok? Ok, what did the doctor drink? Perché non ci sta il nome. Where does the doctor work? Ok?
Ho detto che non la dico.
Ok. Quando avete finito mi chiamate che io sono a vostra esposizione. What was the creature che stavo wearing? Che stavo indossando? What was the face like? Questo va bene. Però io l'ultima volta ho scritto, sono venute che... sì. Fanne una con questa. Sì. Ok? What's the restaurant like? What kind of transport could the doctor... No, tu hai fatto what kind of transport, giusto? Could the doctor use to carry to the hospital the creature? Can the elephant man walk quickly? Ok, questo va bene, solo che fai qualche domanda con questa. Ok, queste vanno bene. Allora, questo è una locuzione, perché la locuzione interrogativa è how many people, questa è tutta la question word, quindi tutto questo è questa, quindi questa va qua, how many people does, ho trovato una particolare, how many people visit the elephant man, qua non c'è vuole does. Questa è una particolarità. How many people visit the elephant man? Quante persone visitano? What does the elephant man? Allora, questo è why does the elephant man? Ok, però se tu usi is, non puoi usare does. Ok? Che quelli sono, i verbi sono due. Sono i modali e ausiliari da una parte e gli ordinari da una parte. Quindi questi usano il QSI, quindi usano do, does e did al passato. Questi invertono il verbo del soggetto, non li possiamo mescolare, quindi questi non usano questa. Ok? Non ho capito. Sì, ripeto, qualche cosa di grammatica la facciamo. Cioè, io devo capire un attimo quali sono le cose grammaticali che stanno un po' più a terra, poi dopo le facciamo. Ci sto vedendo le domande adesso, che avevo già capito che c'era qualche problema. Ok, va bene. Dimmi. Sì, come stava vestendo? Perché se noi chiediamo a una persona come è vestita, ci vuole il progressive, perché non è una cosa abituale, nel senso che uno veste sempre allo stesso modo. Ok? What does the doctor think about the elephant man? Ok, va bene. Sarebbe QASI. Questa è la parola interrogativa. Quindi where, when, eccetera, eccetera. Questa è l'ausiliare, che o è do, o è does, o è did al passato. Questo è il soggetto. E questo è l'infinito. E questa forma si usa con tutto, con tutti i verbi, tranne con to be, have, got, can, must, will, could, would e should, che sono per il condizionale, che quasi fanno inversione tra verbo e soggetto. Quindi questa forma si usa con tutti i verbi tranne che con questi. Questa è l'unica eccezione dove si invertono verbo e soggetto. Ok? Sono rubato la penna da qualcuno, di chi è? No, non ti preoccupare, non ti preoccupare. Perché sono un ladro di penne. Ok? Okay, now I want you now to write one more question, different question to ask me. Okay, so you have written questions, think of another question to ask me. Okay, so you've written some questions, correct? Okay, but now think of another one to ask me. Okay, quindi another one. Okay, so quindi mettete alla prova le forme interrogative. And then I will ask you questions about the chapter. Come volete voi, non ha pensato la scrivete, l'importante è che sia giusta. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's start with group 1 at the back. There, let's start with Yolanda.
Where did the creature sit?
Okay, where did the creature sit? The creature sat on a chair behind a table in a small dark room. Okay? Does that satisfy your answer? Yes? Okay. Chiara.
What did the elephant man wear?
Okay, what did the elephant man wear? So the elephant was wearing a cloth on his head, trousers, old trousers, and a long coat. And he had no shoes, and he had no shirt. Okay?
Io avevo fatto anche what was the elephant man wearing?
Ok, perfetto.
Esatto.
Sì, vanno bene tutte e due.
Is similar.
It's the same. It's the same in this case. Ilaria.
Why doesn't the police stop to the shopkeeper?
Why doesn't the police stop? Infinito, non è mai terza persona, c'è does per la terza persona. So why doesn't the police stop the shopkeeper? Well, the police does stop the shopkeeper because people are afraid of the elephant man. In general, why doesn't the police stop the shopkeeper from using the elephant man? Because there was no legislation in place. If there is no legislation, the police cannot do anything. The police only does what the law allows them to do. This is in every country. Okay, so it depends on legislation, dipende dalla legge. Thank you very much. Peppe?
Un po' più difficile.
How does elephant man dressing?
How does the elephant man dress? How does the elephant man dress? In this case, I would say. In this case, how does he dress vuol dire come si veste, ma nel senso non che cosa indossa, nel senso come si veste, cioè chi lo veste, cioè in questo senso. Tipo se io dico come ti vesti la mattina, mi vesto da solo o mi veste mia mamma, direbbe un bambino di 2 anni. Ok? Quindi, how does the elephant man dress? I think he dresses by himself, probably. Okay? Because he has no trousers and no shoes, because it is difficult for him to get dressed. Mariano?
Where did the doctor feel the smell for the first time? In the shop or in the back room only?
Probably, well, this is a strange question. I wouldn't say feel, I would say where did the doctor notice? Ok, to feel è sentire, ma non è come diciamo noi in italiano. Ok? Quindi io sento l'odore, in inglese you don't feel the smell. Ok? Feel is touch, so you notice the smell. Okay? So, well, he noticed the smell for the first time in the small room with the elephant man. But when he went back into the shop, he probably noticed the smell again.
So the first time in the back door.
So it's psychological. The first time in the back room, but when he went back into the kitchen, the smell was there. Okay? Patrizia.
Why did David Lynch direct a movie just 100 years after the novel?
Because now England is a very strange country. Like for English people, there are things which other people from other countries do not understand. Things which are typically English. Like in England, Jack the Ripper, who is Jack lo Squartatore, is some kind of a legend. Okay? He is something which you grow up with. People are fascinated in England by Jack the Ripper. Okay? Like Titanic. When people grow up in England, like when I was a child growing up, Titanic is a legend. People are fascinated by Titanic. And people are fascinated by the Victorian age in general, because so many things happened during the Victorian age. Lots of novels, Sigmund Freud's theories. So we have things like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, okay, and the double personality which was typical of people living in the Victorian era. Okay? So there was lots of things fascinate English people today concerning the Victorian age. Old London. Okay? Like in at the end of the 19th century, London, when people say London, when you see films about Jack the Ripper or Sherlock Holmes, for example, okay, which, of course, Sherlock Holmes is an invented character, okay, he doesn't really exist, he never existed. But he lived at the end of the 19th century. The Industrial Revolution, okay, was born in England. And at the end of the 19th century, London was very polluted. Polluted means inquinata. Okay? And so London was always full of, not fog. In English, fog is nebbia. Okay? London was full of smog. Okay? Because of the factories. It's a bit like China now. That was London in the 19th century. And London, before the Industrial Revolution, was a big city, but during the Industrial Revolution it became enormous because lots of people moved from the countryside to London. And a lot of people lived very horrible lives in London at the end of the 19th century. It was terrible. Like Jack the Ripper is important for English history because after he killed all those women, the government and politics in general started to notice how people lived in London, in the East End. And people lived badly. They lived worse than animals. Lots of people didn't have a place to sleep. Now in England there is a word which is a doss hole or doss houses. What is a doss house? It is like a big, like this room, okay, and this was legal in London. So this is to answer Ilaria's question, why didn't the police stop the shopkeeper? There were, like this room, imagine this room, and when people didn't have houses, so people used to walk in the streets, drink alcohol, and a lot of women were prostitutes. People believe that about 50% of women living in the East End of London at the end of the 19th century were prostitutes. That's a lot of people in Whitechapel. That's a lot of people, okay? They didn't have a place to sleep. They didn't have a place to eat, they didn't have anything. So what happened? At the end of the day, there were people who had big houses or warehouses, depositi, and they used to rent for money a place to sleep. Okay? And this is true, people used to sleep in coffins. Now, a coffin is bara. Okay? Yeah. People used to live, they used to sleep in coffins. There were no toilets. People were drunk. Okay? A lot worse. People used to go to toilet in the coffins, then they woke up in the morning and they left. Now, the question is, why did people sleep in coffins? Because the owners of the doss houses, if a person died during the night, no, they used to call the hospital, and the hospitals went to the house, and they used to pay the man for the body, because this is the period of positivism. And so people were experimenting on human bodies, and a human body was fresh, dead, was important for doctors, because they used to operate on them. Frankenstein was slightly before, but Okay, so this was London at the end of the 19th century, and it was legal. So London was a horrible place at the end of the 19th century. And thanks to Jack the Ripper, people started to inquire and say, how are people living in the East End of London? And so things started to change, and legislation came about. And it was not possible to have people sleep in coffins again. Okay? Unfortunately, London was not a nice place, also for other reasons, in Italy we have Catholicism. Okay? Now Catholicism has lots of negative things, but when a person called Max Weber, he wrote a Protestant Ethics, okay? L'etica protestante. And he tried to explain the reason why Northern Europe was richer than Catholic countries, than Southern Europe. And one of the reasons was that people wanted to, if you study Protestantism, like Lutheranism, Martin Luther and Calvin,